And you're very welcome back to the Sunday game. Now we're going to begin our roundup of yesterday's action in the football qualifiers. And our first port of call is O'Moore Park, where Laois hosted Clare.
Laois and Clare met at this stage last year. A late surge at Cusack Park saw the banner edge that one by a single point. Another close game was predicted ahead of this qualifier at O'Moore Park. The visitors made the livelier start. Owen Cleary's first attempt was blocked, but he stuck at it and got Clare's first from play, the first of 9 for him. Jamie Malone went on a run to goal 10 minutes in. His effort was disallowed for overcarrying. Laois captain Stephen Atroy contributed 2 fine points from play, which saw them level at the 15-minute mark. Malone continued to cause trouble for the Laois defence. He bore down on goal again. Keeper Graham Brodie denying him this time. Laois too came close, as their afternoon might have been different if Gary Walsh's powerful shot not blasted off the post. Clare were 3 clear, 11 points to 8 at half-time. Big turning point came 7 minutes into the second half when Laois lost John O'Loughlin to a second yellow card. This point from their captain would be the highlight of the half for Peter Creedon's side. A minute later, Jamie Malone did get his goal. Laois were 6 points and a man down. And Laois fans were heading for the exits when Keelan Sexton got Clare's second goal 10 minutes from time. Clare went all the way to their first quarter-final last year, and they'll be a serious challenge for any side in the next round. It's a miserable end to the season for Laois. Clare were 10-point winners. The final score at O'Moore Park, Clare 218, Laois 14 points.
We were expecting a tighter game. I suppose things went kind of well for us, and we got some good scores. And I thought our shooting was very good today. So when that happens, you sometimes pull away. But I thought in the first half it was very competitive. There was very little between the two teams, just that we got the scores at the right time.
You know, overall I would have felt that, you know, Clare were playing good football, and, you know, we were struggling to stay with them, but staying with them. And if we kept ourselves in it to 2 or 3 points, you know, with Donny up front and a few more of our forwards, we could have nipped a goal. But look, today Clare are deserving winners.
A large attendance meant the throw-in for this game was delayed by 12 minutes. And when it got underway, it was Sligo who broke the deadlock through Adrian Marin's point from a free before it was cancelled out by James McEntee, who was a late inclusion in the Meath team. There was a let-off for Meath as Sligo went in search of the first goal of the game. After goalkeeper Paddy O'Rourke failed to collect a high ball, it eventually came to Pat Hughes, but the Giva man had to settle for a point in the end as O'Rourke managed to redeem himself. Meath suffered a blow when the impressive Ronan Jones was forced off through injury in the opening half, but they recovered to stay in contention with captain Graham Riley tying up the scores at 5 points apiece. Sligo were playing with a strong wind at their backs, and they made the most of it on this occasion. Niall Murphy slotted the ball over the crossbar from long range as the visitors sought to finish the first half strongly. Sligo's wait for a first goal in 3 games ended 5 minutes before the interval. Gerard O'Kelly Lynch bundled the ball into the net under a challenge from Riley, and Sligo went in at half-time leading by 1-6 to 6 points. After the restart, Meath set about reducing the deficit and got the first 2 scores of the half. Killian O'Sullivan's was the second, and it meant Sligo's advantage was down to a point. It was hard to pick a winner with neither side managing to take control. The sides were level for the first time in the second half thanks to Sean Tobin's point. Scores dried up for Sligo and they went 18 minutes without one as Meath got on top with the help of 2 points each from Tobin and Mickey Newman. Sligo did have a chance of a goal when Meath were almost cut out, but David Kelly couldn't convert, and Meath hung on for a first qualifier win in 7 attempts, coming out on top by 14 points to 1-9.
There was a couple of times when we probably looked like we had a bit of momentum behind us, and in all fairness, Sligo dug in there, and midway through the second half looked to have arrested it back themselves and were looking more likely than we were. So I suppose in that regard we showed a bit of character and came back and finished strong.
We created enough chances to win the game, and I thought we stifled them fairly well as well, so that's all you're looking for. Look, the boys performed very well, but they're all bitterly disappointed we didn't come away with the win.
After an encouraging league campaign and an Ulster quarter-final rout of Antrim, optimism reigned in Donegal. That was before there were no match for a rampant Tyrone in the Ulster semi-final. Longford, the visitors to Ballybofey, buoyed by their qualifier heroics in recent years. In a dour first half, the accuracy of sharpshooter Robbie Smith and David McGivney from frees nudged the away side into a 3-1 lead, a gap that they should have widened on 22 minutes. Smith, who had amassed 11 points in the loss to Laois and 7 in the win against Laois, left scratching his head after he failed to take full advantage of a terrific James McGivney pass. And Donegal reacted well to that near miss, going down the other end to register the game's opening score from play. And an excellent score it was, Caelan Ward and Michael Carroll both involved, before Paddy McBrearty shook off his marker Padraig McCormack to send a superb left-footed effort over the bar. As the half-time whistle loomed, a crowd of almost 10,000 in Ballybofey might have been contemplating an evening best spent elsewhere. Another David McGivney free, and this well-worked reply in stoppage time from Donegal sub Martin McElhinney saw Longford into the dressing rooms up 4-3. Longford, who had Daniel Mimna black-carded in the first half, then saw Darren Gallagher suffer a similar fate just 5 minutes into the second. And after a Murphy-pointed free, McElhinney would tag on his second of the day, a move he started and finished, and Donegal had drawn level. Longford's last 2 championship trips north had seen them out down in Newry and Monaghan and Clones, but this one was turning against them, particularly when James McGivney was dismissed, reducing them to 14 for the final 20 minutes. The initial response from Longford was impressive, Diarmuid Masterson reacting well to pop this effort over, but then Donegal hit a purple patch with 3 unanswered points in a 3-minute spell. A McBrearty free added to here by Jamie Brennan, and that would be followed almost straight from the Longford kick-out by a neatly taken score from Owen McHugh. Longford's dream of another qualifying run ended as Donegal laboured to an unconvincing victory on a day that produced just 7 scores from play. Final score, Donegal 12 points, Longford 7 points.
Definitely not a classic, you know, but look good to be through. If you'd give me a 5-point victory before the game, we'd have taken it, but at the same time we're very, very disappointed in a lot of aspects of our play. We missed an awful lot of chances, and that kept Longford in the game.
In a game that I felt was played in very good spirits between 2 very clean teams on the day, we ended up with 3 black cards, and one of those ended up being a red card. We felt that was a massive turning point, and Donegal had scored us in the last 20 minutes of that game by 6 points to 2 after the sending off of our centre forward James McGivney.
You will address Dennis Connaughton's point there about the black card in a moment, but Kieran, Donegal don't seem to be, things aren't going as smoothly as the last couple of years.
Yeah, Des, I drew the short straw. I had to watch that today, which was a form of torture, being honest with you. It was a shocking game of football. 31 wides across the whole game. Donegal starting 15 scored 2 points in play. Longford scored 2 points in play. Donegal are lacking confidence. They've reverted to type. They went back to short kickouts. They've gone back to dropping 14, 15 men behind the ball. They played with no adventure. Longford had to do similar. They had to mirror that if they were going to kind of stay in the game. But there's definitely no impetus in this Donegal performance yesterday. The pace coming through the middle is not there. They're not getting guys in the shoulder. They're going backwards. They're going sidewards. They're struggling for any sort of offensive plan. So, listen, in fairness, first round qualifiers are for winning, and when you come off the back of it, Tyrone, they've won that now. But they have to build on it.
I take that, but there is a lot of young lads gone into the team, and it can't be easy to bring it.
There is that. But we didn't see what we saw in the National League, and you would expect Donegal against Longford to play with a little bit more offensive threat and push on and go for the game. They reverted to type. Yes,
and that reflects lack of confidence.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Dennis Connaughton's point about Longford? You thought both
he's a valid point, Des, and being honest, we don't want to go here with the black card, but this is hugely important. I think this is a really, really poor call. Owen Bon Gallagher is going forward. James McGivney is chasing him down. Now, if somebody thinks this is deliberate, I just can't see it. There's no threat. He comes in to try and tackle him. He just tangles legs with him, and he goes down. He's on a yellow card. Porteous comes in, gives him the red off. Personally, I think that's an appalling decision. It's 5 points each, At that time, Longford are well in the game and they're down to 14 men. You know, you've got to look, and I know we really don't want to go here. We have to apologise to people at home for going here, but the Longford players put in a huge effort this year, you know, and a decision like that, their season turns on. Thought it was a really bad call.
Okay, and you agree it was?
Yeah, I think the black card is intentional. I don't think that was intentional at all.
Clare won again, and you've had a soft spot for Clare, a respect for Clare footballers.
Yeah, I suppose they went up, and as Colm Collins said, he wasn't expecting it as easy as it was. I suppose John O'Loughlin sending off early in the second half had a big bearing on the game. I don't think it would have affected the result, to be quite honest with you. I think, you know, Laois are reliant on Donny Kingston. You know, they got a thumping off Kildare. They barely got over the line against Wicklow. And it seemed like a camp that aren't happy at the moment. You know, there's something. I know Peter Creedon had a good reputation down in Tipperary, so there's something not up. But Clare, I mean, if you look at a weaker county, you know, what they have is just fantastic. Colm Collins, what he's done with them. Laois have gone one direction and Clare have gone another direction. They're brilliant. They have intensity, they have a style of football, they're coached well, they're managed well. They lost against Kerry, but they've come back. You know, I think it's phenomenal. I think nobody, Des, when the draw is made tomorrow morning, will enjoy going down to Ennis. And I'm talking any of the teams. You know, they don't fear anybody. They have nothing to lose. And it's brilliant to see. Owen Cleary kicked 9 points yesterday. They have great spread of scores. They opened up Kerry 3 or 4 times. They were dangerous against Kerry. They rattled the crossbar the last 15 minutes that would have made a game out of it. So Clare are having a good couple of seasons. And I think a lot of that down is to how a management take it so seriously and how they apply this to players and instill it into players, and the players reply in return.
Respond. Okay, well, Meath are also in the draw tomorrow morning, just as expected, but Sligo are a bit unlucky.
Yeah, look, Des, I watched this game and there was a heavy wind there, you know. I suppose Sligo were very unlucky. That was an unbelievable block by Adrian McIntyre. There's a lot of talk going around the place that Sligo are motivationless, that they're leaderless, that they're... this was in the last minute, and there was only 2 points in it. You know, and David Kelly had a great chance of a goal. It was a game, Des, it was very windy, and with a gale of wind behind them, Meath won the game, and that's what qualifiers are for, to get over the line. It's first win for Meath in the back door in 6 years. But the way they played, you know, I wouldn't have much faith going forward. They had a gale wind behind them and they were hand-passing it up the field. There was no direction. I suppose what got them over the line was Don Lennon, Killian O'Sullivan, Sean Tobin kicking long scores, and that's probably what got them over the line. They'd be delighted to have Mickey Newman back, but I wouldn't be a happy man coming out of Meath last night. I even heard boos from their own crowd, and they are a passionate crew, so a lot of work to be done there to get over the next round.
Okay, we'll chat about that draw in a few moments, but we're going to first look